Welcome to the Owner's Box. I am very excited about today because we've got a couple of young entrepreneurs who are also brothers, and they were early adopters to e-commerce, and we're going to learn all about how they found a path to e-commerce and became successful entrepreneurs many times over. Before we start the show, as always, I want to introduce my co-host, Don Piero from the Empower Lab. Hey, Don.
Hey, good morning. Today we've got a twofer. I'm excited about that. A couple of serial productpreneurs, as we will take it. Get ready to learn twice as much as we usually do. Here we go, David.
Thanks, Don, and welcome Dion and Jioni to the show.
Thank you. It's so great to be here and sharing the stage with especially my brother and other like-minded entrepreneurs.
Well, let's jump right into it. How did you guys start in your first business?
Well, for me, it really started back in high school. I got involved in a network marketing company. And prior to that, I was, taking candy and selling it in school and seeing other people start to copy that trend and realized at that point that I was an entrepreneur. But it really was after high school and getting into a sales job, I discovered that I was looking for a way to work from home. And originally that's what I thought. I wanted to be able to work from home, but truly what I wanted was to be able to work from anywhere. And that was, the ultimate freedom. I saw that there was an opportunity, and it really revolved around me looking for different opportunities. And I stumbled upon eBay, and more so than eBay, I saw the opportunity there. It's actually where my brother came into the picture. We were able to go ahead and, thrive together, through Synergy. But it wasn't until I actually found a mentor that put me on the right path. And that was very pivotal and, into my success with actually taking what I would consider an entrepreneurial feat, such as selling online, right? It was a roller coaster of success and ups and downs, to then be put on, I would say, more of a fast track to consistent success, to be able to make it an actual business and not have to look at the probability of going back to a job.
So, Dion, besides being able to work from anywhere, what other things drove you to start your own thing?
Well, I looked at even when it came back to playing baseball, I love the sport, but if I wasn't involved fully in, as far as controlling every aspect, such as like, pitching or catching, it became a little, I would say, boring for me, right? So, I wish I was introduced to something like tennis earlier on, because that's actually now what I seem to play almost on a daily basis, where I'm fully in control, and I actually don't play doubles really because I want to be involved as much as possible. But, as far as, business goes, I looked at, if I could be the one in charge of, creating my own freedom and not have a boss dictating that would be, ultimate freedom. And, sometimes people have bosses they love and sometimes they don't. I didn't particularly love the one that I had previously before, really going on to my entrepreneurial journey. And, that was one of the driving factors of, becoming my own boss, the freedom and the ability to not work for money long term, but have money work for me.
So, Jioni, obviously you're brothers with Dion. How does your dad play into this? Was he a mentor? Was he an entrepreneur? Tell us more about that.
Our dad, he's a jeweler, but he wasn't the jeweler in the sense that he was working at a retail brick and mortar. He was the old school guy who had the bag over his shoulder, and he would show up to his high class clientele and basically say, this is what I have for you today, and try to sell them. And so we kind of grew up under that thought that, he made his own hours and he was out there hustling, if you will, to make a living. And so I think that kind of from afar wore off on us as we were kind of observing, the lifestyle that he had created for himself. And then our mom, on the other hand, she was big into network marketing, and she created her own hours, and we watched her on the phone all day long. And basically from there, we kind of saw two different paths, but at the same time, the one thing that they had going for them was they didn't have a boss, and they worked for themselves. And so I think we didn't necessarily know right away how much of a part that would play in our upbringing, but essentially I think that shaped us a lot.
I'd also like to add, even my stepfather, watching his insane work ethic, but not only that, the fact that when Jioni and I were much younger, we all used to go collect baseball cards together, and it went from just having fun doing it to then, him seeing the opportunity to also sell some of these cards on eBay. And I remember it seemed like on a daily basis he was selling these cards. So it's almost like subconsciously I'm seeing this from a young age that, oh, look, you can actually sell things on eBay. And it was when I found out about eBay, I started buying items. I remember I was so into magic, buying magic tricks and looking at, I had this fascination with laser pointers. And, come to think of it, that was one of the first items I actually sold on eBay. I was taking laser pointers. I saw there was an easy way to enhance how powerful one could be, and I would put them back on eBay and resell. But, come to think of it, as, it was mentioned, how did our father come into it? Well, it seemed like, our upbringing from our stepfather to our mother to our dad, there was bits and pieces that, as we take a step back and look, they've all, we've all been able to adapt onto what we've seen and witnessed growing up.
So it sounds like from what you're sharing that selling really is in your DNA.
Oh, absolutely.
It looks like that. Yeah, definitely. I almost think that Dion always had that mindset. Like, one story that I think he hadn't mentioned was that at school, when iPods were big, he would find people who thought their iPods were broken, but essentially they weren't broken. Their batteries were no longer working. So he would take them home. He would buy batteries off of eBay. He would put the new battery in the iPod, and then he would sell it on eBay and, make a killing for a young kid in high school. So.
And I actually, so it's funny because my father, who was, very, big in jewelry, he would always find and make, one of his amazing strong suits was he was a master networker, and he had connections to seemingly everybody. And one thing that it didn't matter, small or big, from the celebrity types to, pawn shops. And he would get amazing deals at these pawn shops. So I would ask my father, hey, I've been buying these iPods and I've been getting some of these ones that people think are broken, but I'm taking the risk of buying them and then, opening them up, which they don't make it easy for you to do. But I'd go on eBay, buy a battery for $5, and 9 times out of 10, the thing would just start right back up and I'd be able to sell it for a good profit. Do you know if any of these pawn shops have any iPods sitting on the shelves? Because what I seemed to find out was that if they were sitting for a while, a lot of these older iPods, they wouldn't turn back on, even if you just had them plugged in, and they needed a fresh battery. And I knew that they weren't going to do that. And so that gave me the opportunity. And I remember my father would take me around to different pawn shops that he's done great business with. And I would buy these iPods, and I would just love it because I was able to go ahead and take these iPods and I put them on eBay. But one thing I would also do, beyond just obviously putting a new battery in, was I would bundle it. So I'd make it even more valuable by spending an extra $10 on eBay and buying a wall plug-in, car adapter, retractable USB, and I'd sell it all together as a package. So now not only am I taking that iPod that would have sold for $100, now I'm selling it for $140, $150 just by adding an extra, valuable component to it.
What's obvious to me is that you saw in your parents and your dad the ability to see opportunity and then to have good work ethic and then to hustle. Because you know what? 19 or high school kids are not out there hustling businesses. So that's clearly where it comes from. That's great. I took a lot of that hustle from my dad. My dad was a little guy. He was tough, but he knew how to hustle. And I learned to hustle from him.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm enjoying this story. In school, like you guys, I would buy my friends bicycles after they get ratty looking and they're rusty wheels. I get an SOS pad, clean the wheels, buy a 99-cent can of spray paint, spray it up, and triple my money, go buy another one.
See, how cool is that?
Isn't that cool? Yeah. Now, being serial or natural DNA salesman, it helps you get business and get it going. But sometimes salespeople aren't as organized as they could be, and they can sell themselves into a pickle. I'm curious if that ever happened for you guys as you got some higher volumes going.
I think maybe at times we would overextend ourselves a little bit with projects or working with different people that, while trying to work on our own business. So we maybe would consider ourselves as consultants, but when you're spread a little too thin, you may not concentrate or focus on the things that are the most important. And once I think we kind of backtracked a little bit, brought that back, we were able to hone in on our businesses and take it to another level. So, that probably is the only instance I can really think of.
Well, and in that regard, in what ways do you complement each other?
Complement each other very well. We wouldn't have never known. I mean, just kind of looking back on the days when we started selling on eBay together, he was very good at, the customer service, the reaching out, and also the innovator. He's really outside the box thinker. And I feel like maybe I was more of a little on the structured side of making sure everything was done on time. Not that he would have got it done on time. It's just something that maybe that role I fit and I continue to produce on that level. I don't know, Dion, you have any other things to add?
Well, yeah, definitely. It's the synergy is great. I mean, in the pursuit of the entrepreneurial journey, I've worked and attempted to have worked with so many different individuals. And I'm lucky to be able to say that my brother is absolutely by far the best person I've worked with. And, I've worked with people who are trying to do 10 projects at once, and then I'm getting involved in, multiple projects being spread thin. And some of them are amazing projects. And I even have other projects that I know are multi-million-dollar easy opportunities to take advantage of. I've told Jioni some of them, but at the same time, when you have something that's great and there's more greatness to come out of it by just going ahead and doubling down, you really got to focus where, the opportunity lies and not just get distracted. Because that's, seems to be one of the issues is, so many people, especially in the entrepreneurial space, have the shiny ball, syndrome, where they see the next shiny object. Well, I've had some of that, but one of the things that I could say Jioni has been so good at is, not only the foundational aspects of our business of just continually making sure everything is running smoothly, but also on the growth side, we're able to go ahead and, come together and have a meeting of the minds with our different strategies. I oftentimes will, think of different ideas and strategies that are out there and nobody's maybe thought of yet. And then Jioni will come in and say, okay, not only is that good, but what we could do as well is add this aspect on and supercharge it and make it better. So I think it's amazing when you have, I'd say we are different in ways. We complement each other well, but what we do seem to have are, great ideas to continue growing. And then it kind of pushes ourselves to then go ahead and not only come up with more ideas, but be able to implement it and then stack ideas on top of that to, kind of like a tree, grow more branches, to thrive.
What you're saying is very exciting to me because there's a book that Don and I love called Rocket Fuel. We talk about it all the time. And it's a theory of the visionary and the integrator. And it sounds like, Dion, you're the visionary and Jioni is the integrator. And that makes the perfect, pair or duo for Rocket Fuel. And that's what really gets the business going to the next level. So that sounds like what we're hearing right here. Absolutely. What do you think, Don?
Oh, yeah, it's exciting. The visionary's always got more ideas, more wild ideas. And the integrator likes those ideas, but says, hey, if we just do 3, we'll kill it. If we try to do all 5, we might spread ourselves too thin. Does that feel about like how you two roll?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, Dion's creative and he's always thinking about so many different possibilities and things. And I'm kind of maybe a little more grounded of like, let's do all of those, but okay, in steps. So we'll get there by, let's start with this great idea and then we can transition to this one and so on. And therefore we gradually get there rather than maybe, like you just explained, trying to think of so many ideas and not necessarily executing very well on one of them individually. But in this case, when we kind of slow down, we get it done, I guess, is what it comes down to.
How many people in your organization now, huh?
It's just us two.
So it's you two.
That's right.
Lean, mean, fighting machine.
And at times we know when we have to hire out. Like, it's an amazing thing this day and age that many people probably didn't have, is the opportunity to freelance and reach out to individuals who are well versed in aspects that maybe we don't know as well of. Because, a lot of times people will spend trying to learn something, and there's nothing wrong with that. But unfortunately, time is, passing you by, and we might not be able to do as well of a job as somebody who's proficient and who has a lot of hours in the field that we're looking to do. So on that sense, we've been pretty good about knowing when to hire a freelancer, hire somebody who can do a fantastic job at a task that we're looking to get done.
So you guys cut your teeth in eBay business, but then at some point you transition to Amazon and you become productpeneurs on Amazon. So tell us about how did you become such an early adopter? How did that happen?
Well, out of my first sales job, I got laid off. I had 3 months of unemployment, and I made a commitment to myself that I wasn't going to not, try to extend the unemployment like I saw a lot of friends doing, and then obviously going nowhere. But more importantly, to be able to make enough income to be able to not have to go back to a job. And there was a roller coaster of success Jioni and I were selling on eBay, selling a fitness product that, was a DVD set. And, we would break down the set, sell each DVD individually. And I remember we used to fit what shouldn't have fit in a priority flat rate envelope into a priority flat rate envelope. In fact, we would sometimes have to get together, and one would have to hold down the flap in a priority flat rate envelope, and the other one would have to tape just to fit it in, because we were selling these DVDs, but sometimes we'd include a set of resistance bands or push-up stands with these DVDs. And it was at that time we had started to, I looked up to various different websites where you could import resistance bands and heart rate monitor watches and all that. And it really got me to thinking, there could be a lot of opportunity here, but there's also this downtime, this lag time. You got to find the right supplier. You got to go ahead and, have it shipped over. Then you got to wait for that to come and then see the quality. And we are fortunate enough to find a supplier locally, and that had great quality. And it really got Jioni and I to thinking, well, what more could we do with this? Well, since the time of selling fitness products on eBay, it went, I was lucky enough to find this mentor, and this mentor taught me drop shipping. And that's really where I found, some foundational, consistent success. And while that was going well, and I felt like, this I can manage at the level I have, there was also this newer opportunity that seemed to be arising, which was called FBA, Fulfillment by Amazon. And Jioni and I had, I told Jioni about this. Jioni, you remember?
Yeah, Dion had come across this Fulfillment by Amazon concept. And right at that time, I believe eBay had shut us down finally. We had people flagging our accounts saying we were selling illegitimate products, which we were not. We would provide receipts and documentation every time. But apparently at one point they just had enough. They had so many notes on us that they shut us down. So Dion comes across this FBA. I wouldn't even call it a course. It was a lady talking about how she would go to garage sales. She would have a barcode scanner on her phone, and she would just be looking for rare books or books that would be going for a good, amount of money on Amazon. But, if you ever go to a garage sale and pick up a book, people put 50 cents to $1 value on any book. They don't have no idea. So she would talk about how she would put it all in one box, send it into Amazon, and when they purchased, she'd make a lot of money. Well, Dion and I didn't think that was our means to how we were going to sell on Amazon, but we did recognize the opportunity to, find a product, send it into Amazon's warehouse, and they would essentially ship it out for you, Amazon Prime, 2 days. And that was a new thing back then. That was, back in about 2011, 2012, where they were just kind of featuring the fact that you can do this yourself. Anybody can start their own business on Amazon. And that started the wheels turning for us.
So it sounds like at first getting kicked off eBay was like, oh, crap. But before you know it, it was like, how great. Turned us on to FBA.
And we eventually got that eBay account back. But, by that time when we did, we were already I would consider smooth sailing on Amazon.
Is eBay a meaningful business today? I mean, do people do this on eBay in the way they did back in, 2008?
It absolutely is. But, more and more people I've seen over the years have become more privy. One of the things that I've been fortunate is, the timing. They say the T in timing is more important than the T in talent. And I always looked at, taking the opportunity. Another thing is, the biggest nation in the world, procrastination. Right. And so there's been a lot of opportunities that I've seen come across my desk and maybe haven't acted on, but and I can look back and say, what if I did, right? I've seen so many different things that I could have maybe invested a little into and done very well with. But one of the things I could still look at is, well, what we did take, by the reins is, proven to have a lot of success. But yeah, with eBay, there's still a lot of opportunity, but your creativity can help with that. And I still see opportunities there, but again, I'm not focused on that. But, drop shipping, there's people still doing that, and there's people still selling physical goods. And, with the rise of social media, I see so many people learning how to get into what to look for when they're at thrift stores, garage sales. People love doing that. I actually came out with a course back in 2019 where I, started teaching people a newer way of earning online. And it still works very, very well to this day, if not even better. But that's by taking advantage of the local marketplaces. Craigslist was there for a long time and didn't want to evolve. And what came out of that was we had, OfferUp, we had Facebook Marketplace come out, and they were determined to take a lot of market share from Craigslist, and that they certainly did. But I created a reversed drop shipping strategy that works very well and will continue to always work well, because there's always going to be different local demands in every marketplace. And then I taught people also how to do drop shipping through these local marketplaces, but also, tie it into Amazon if they want. You can go ahead and take these local marketplaces, generate all this free traffic, and then, tie it into generally whatever business you want. I actually have a great network marketing play for this, but I haven't, discussed this with any network marketing owner because I just haven't seen the time be right. But yeah, anyways, I think that's a little bit of a long-winded, but from eBay to these local marketplaces, there's a lot of opportunity. More and more people are shopping online. But from the local aspect, I did notice there's so many impulsive shoppers that also just want to buy local and also might just want to, deal in cash, and they don't really shop online. So who's going to cater to them? Well, the people that see the opportunity in that. And I've helped a lot of people do well from seeing these other opportunities that perhaps other people don't see, or they don't see it in its entirety, see it fully.
You're clearly the visionary. And you got big ideas. Distill that down to, I'm an entrepreneur, and how do I decide what kind of a product that I'm going to bring out to the market, either on eBay or Amazon? How do you, us entrepreneurs, we see so much opportunity and gold everywhere. How do you distill that down to something that turns into a successful business?
Well, if you take it back from the drop shipping, I turned that into a successful operation where I was making more money than I'd ever done in my life. And at that time, I was going strictly based off of what the market was demanding and what they would pay, what they pay for. I didn't know. And that's the common question that I used to get all the time when I was teaching people how to make money, because I did a lot of coaching as far as helping people sell on eBay. And they'd be, what do I sell? Well, yeah, a lot of people would downplay, oh yeah, but you don't, how could you find products that cheap or consistently, or what are you doing, going to clearance aisles? And I'd show them some strategies. I'd be like, no, look, it's endless. If we go on eBay and we do a completed listing sold search, I can just give you some titles. We can go to pretty much any category on Amazon, and we can go over to eBay and I could show you where the opportunity lies. And so that's what I did in the beginning. I was just, selling lots of different items from, home goods, furniture, auto tools, getting into other, littler niches. And I would see what was starting to sell more than others. And then I would refine the process. I'd go, okay, I'm selling a lot of steel shelving. Okay, well, why don't I go ahead and find other suppliers of this steel shelving? Oh, I can go to these lesser known websites that people don't know of. I could also try to get some wholesale contacts and, make deals like that. So, it was really seeing what the market demanded. Yeah, there's the other side of the token is if you're passionate about something, you can go ahead and try and focus on that. But sometimes what you're passionate about is not going to be what's going to provide you a nice income, at least from the get-go. And it's interesting to see people that, for instance, I love tennis. And I was like, well, yeah, I would never make money on it. I'm not that good. I didn't play it growing up. I wish I did. But, I've seen opportunities now just through social media where I can go ahead and actually earn an income just for fun, but playing tennis. And I could go ahead and bring other people involved, get them involved and do well with that. But anyways, not to go off on a tangent, sticking with, finding, you can do what we consider a sampling. There's a lot of opportunity out there. There's always, if you were to, for instance, watch Shark Tank, I've gotten so many ideas from watching Shark Tank where somebody will come out with a product and then you'll see how they've taken, for instance, a broom and they've added a vacuum to it, right? And, it's a sweeping broom. It has this little vacuum on it. Great idea. I went and looked that up on Amazon. It's sold a lot, but it doesn't have good reviews. But I see the flaw and I see where you could fix that flaw. So I remember Jioni and I, we used to look at, products and we used to say, oh, well, what if we added this to it? It's missing this product. Or, even my dad, I felt like he had this idea first, but then years later I saw it, but it was a special like microfiber cleaner for your glasses in the way it was configured. It was like, oh, this is cool. But, you saw it come about. But there's always ways to improve on these products. Or you can go ahead and, look at what's starting to trend. I mean, I remember Jioni and I, we were looking at, what was the weight loss pill? Ketones?
The ketones. But that was a big fad like on Amazon for a while. And it was interesting because people would be 2-pack and like, here's a video with it. And
it was interesting to see. But yeah, and if you can ride the wave, you can also utilize that to then go ahead and get involved in a lot, supercharge something else. So you might see a trend, you might see it right when it starts coming out. And that's why, you look at people that play video games and, parents telling their kids not to play video games growing up, or you're wasting your life doing that. And now you see people like, there's someone that lives right across the street from my mom and they both bought their houses at the same time. And the difference is he bought 6 houses in the same block just from what he's been able to do online, with video games. But same thing with social media. A lot of people look at social media as a distraction, and it very well can be. Even I get distracted by it. But one of the things that I do know and feel fortunate enough to be able to say is social media has also done wonders, not only for Jioni and I, but just in general of being able to, spot trends. There's so much opportunity that, on a month-to-month basis, there are new trends popping up, and there's products. Some will be fads, some will be here to stay, but you have the opportunity. There's so much technology at your disposal that you have the ability to see products before they get big.
So question, share with us stories that you have where you hit a wall or had a major crisis that you had to climb out of.
I guess when you think about, there's the great nuances of being able to sell on Amazon, but it's also like Amazon at times has you by your balls, if I can be perfectly frank.
That's a scientific term.
Yeah, so when it comes down to it, we were doing really well with one of our items. Like, we were the number one result forever, and for no reason whatsoever, Amazon dropped us. We were 3 pages back overnight. And I open up a case, I try to figure it out, and all I get as a response is, oh, it's part of our algorithm. And I describe to them, well, your algorithm should say everything is good for us because our velocity of sales is outstanding. Our reviews are incredible. We have great customer service. What is your algorithm? And they said, well, basically, we can't tell you. We don't know. They don't allow us access to that. So we would go round and round on this concept for a good amount of time. And really, by really shortening this story, is that I think just being resilient and not taking no for an answer sometimes will get you through a lot of roadblocks, because as long as you have an understanding of the problem and take the time to figure out what the solution was, and in this case, there really wasn't a logical solution. It was just to keep pushing because we hadn't done anything incorrectly to have been subjected to this situation. However, by continuously opening up cases, by being very respectful and also articulate in the situation and looking for a solution, eventually, I think it was 2 to 3 months later, unfortunately, we were able to get ourselves out of that, setback.
And also, I remember a specific situation on our, very, early on into our, strive to have success online was, when we were selling on eBay, when we were selling this fitness DVD set, we were met with a lot of resistance. I mean, to the point where 99% of other people selling this were selling counterfeits on eBay, and we were kind of batched into that. However, we had piles and piles of receipts from the company that we were we were going the legitimate route, buying it from the company, and we had that in there. But it's like eBay would have what we'd consider an automated takedown, and sometimes the automated takedown would get overridden by a manual process review, and then it would come back up. Sometimes I'd have to call. They'd say, no, and I'd be like, yes, look at your notes, go back to this date, September 13th, 2009, you'll see the note, put it, and then, okay, you're right. And then it'd get put back up. So, through the success of what we were seeing on eBay, we're running into roadblocks with the actual company that, we're trying to sell on. But then it came another issue where, because 99% of other people were selling counterfeits, they latched down to our idea, which was to sell each DVD individually and let the market decide what to pay for these DVDs. Now, a set only costs us about $100, and each DVD would sell for anywhere between $25 to $50 each. There was a nutrition and fitness guide. Those would sell for as much as $50 each as well. Well, our competition, they were selling counterfeits more times than not. And they started recognizing that their accounts were going to get suspended. So what did they need to do? They needed to offload all of their units as quickly as possible. So they were doing buy it now listings on these discs for $6, $7, $8. So we hit a wall in a sense that, okay, now we can't let the market decide, because somebody is, lots of people are just trying to blow out their DVDs. So what did we do? We started looking at different variables we can add in that would then help us differentiate ourselves from the competition that we knew they weren't going to latch onto. And that was where we started, importing the resistance bands, the heart rate monitor watches, the push-up stands, and a pull-up bar into a set. And now, not only were we selling our set as a complete package, but we are selling it for more than what the actual company sold their set for. Well, the thing was, the company didn't sell the fitness products. So we had this bundle selling for $300. And I think we ended up having 1 or maybe 2 people try to copy us on that. But, even with all that said, so first it was eBay consistently giving us issues. Then it was the marketplace, our competition. And then we were met with the actual company that we were legitimately buying the product from said, well, in our company policy, we don't allow our members, I think it was a multi-level it happened to be a multi-level marketing company, and they didn't let their coaches, is what they call them, sell the products on eBay. And so then I said, well, what if so I was we were being threatened to be terminated because we weren't in compliance. So I was going to forfeit this discount, but what I ended up doing was contacting my sponsor and finding a way to still purchase through the company, but also maintain a discount. And they were able to do that through the ways they provide volume and different aspects. But we were able to go ahead and not only, we did get terminated from the company, but now we ending up buying them even cheaper than we were previously doing, still getting them legitimately and being able to provide receipts. So anyways, those are 3 walls that we hit where maybe your average entrepreneur would have been like, okay, I give up. But we were 3 times what we had to persevere. And I would say that, Jioni mentioned earlier that we did eventually get shut down on eBay, but we also recognized, it was like one of those things when, one door closes, another one opens. We had really started to see the opportunity. I think it was actually before we did Amazon, it was the drop shipping was working tremendously well for me, and Jioni started having some success with it. But, so there was the opportunity there, but then it was Amazon. Amazon became, a massive powerhouse for us.
It was kind of interesting that I think we skipped over a little bit was Dion had explained that he would find a product, like he used the Shark Tank example, and he would see a product and he would go, okay, I know how to, make it better. And when way back when we were selling the fitness products, resistance bands were breaking on everybody. They would snap. Well, our supplier that we found, he created this double banded system, and the double band would essentially mean that it would only break in one area and it would not hurt anybody, and was a selling point for us. So we were able to sell, and not to mention we were getting it locally while everybody else was going to China. And another cool point about that is when we started buying from that gentleman, he had a little shed in, let's say, call it Gardena, California, and we would show up and he would roll up the shed. Maybe 6 months to a year later, he was in a little industrial unit, like
storage unit, right?
Well, maybe that's what it was.
That was an expedition.
It was a storage unit. And then but in really quick increments, he was going from the shed to a storage unit to a small little industrial building. And we'll skip way ahead, but now his building is probably 80,000 square feet in Anaheim, and it's incredible with what he's done. So it's so cool to see, that business mindset, and he had a vision for himself, and we kind of created a great relationship with him over the years. And it's amazing what, a little hustle can do when you see the vision.
So going back to Amazon, I'm curious. When you get moved from page 1 to page 3, how does that affect your business?
Night and day. I mean, it's the real estate that you need. You need to be that front page real estate. If there's anybody who is, let's say, going to listen to this and they're working on their e-commerce standpoint, you need that front page for anything. It doesn't matter whether it be Google or, if you're working on social media, you want to be found. That's your real estate. It's like when you have a successful business and like a restaurant or something, what do they say? The number one thing is location, location, location. Well, in this case with the internet or e-commerce, the opportunity lies in the location. And so therefore they need to be found on the first page.
Guys, we always like to finish these podcasts off with sharing with other entrepreneurs what you would call your lessons learned, your pearls of wisdom. If you were to think of your top 2 or 3 tips that you'd like to pass on to anybody out there that's got that same fire in their belly to start something, what would they be?
Well, one of them would certainly be, if you're going to fail forward. Learn from your failures. There's a lot of people that I've witnessed. I've even had it myself where you fail and you're down and out and you look at it as a failure. But, I've seen so many times where something that I felt like I failed on not only allowed me to push forward, and sometimes it's in a different area, but take that feedback and really, thrive with it. But yeah, if you're going to fail, look at it as a fail forward, see where you can, improve on that.
I love that one. I share with my coaching clients, use F to the third power. Fail forward fabulously. That's where
great.
you learn. You're right. Right on. What else?
What else? So success leaves clues. If you have the opportunity to find a mentor, somebody that's already done what you're after, and you have the opportunity to learn from that individual, definitely do it. I mean, vet them, but make sure, because there's a lot of people out there selling fake, information and all that, but you can really compress time frames by learning from somebody that has what you want, or, is doing what you want to do. It might be lifestyle. It doesn't have to be, just financial journey, but it could be, obviously in fitness, right? So a mentor really helped me fast track my success. And I think that if you identify a mentor in your space, you definitely want to go ahead and see how you can latch on. I mean, there's a lot of people out there that talk bad about courses. Oh, this guy's just trying to sell a course. If this guy's already a millionaire, then why is he trying to sell a course? Right? So there, and you could look at that two ways. Yeah, they might have gotten rich selling the course, but there's also the aspect of, there's people that actually truly want legacy. My original mentor, he was just sitting there making a ton of money drop shipping on eBay. But one of the things that clearly brought him value, or, there was that fulfillment of life, was to actually get on the phone. He didn't really have friends, and he was getting on the phone, talking to other people, seeing them have success, being able to grow businesses with them. But it's one thing to have success for yourself. It's another thing when you can help others do it. There's some gratifying feeling that you can't really get any other way. And again, that this is a justifiable way, that somebody can sell a course. But anyways, I think I was really trying to get at is courses can be your, another way. If you don't have a mentor you can directly pay for, success to get training and guidance from, is there a course you can take to then fast track your success? A lot of people will say, oh, well, all the information's already out there on YouTube and Google. You can Google it and YouTube it. And in many cases, that's true. But are you going to spend the countless hours trying to find who's teaching the right information from the wrong information? And, maybe it's out there for free. It's going to take you a long, long time. When I learned drop shipping, it was already out there. I probably could have found some stuff on YouTube, but was I going to find it all the right way, the way that my mentor had success? Absolutely not. And there was definitely things that he knew that there were never, other people didn't know, or it was few and far between.
Okay, so a few of my pearls of wisdom, I think, is if somebody's looking to be an entrepreneurial, the one thing I consider is that many people imagine, but few execute. I think that's a facet that I live by, in the sense of just do it. Like, I think the next one I kind of take from Gary Vee, which was the micro hustle, macro patience. So every day, hustle, learn to get something done. It doesn't have to be a ton of things, but did you do something today for your goal, your vision, something that's going to help drive you towards your dream, but also have that patience that this is not going to happen overnight. This is something you're working towards and you're building. And then the last one that I kind of think is a good mindset just in general is that this is a world of abundance and not a world of scarcity. And therefore, when you're speaking and working with other people, know that you don't need to hold on to necessarily your insight like you're the only one who's ever going to have it. And by doing that and treating people with that sincerity or empathy of understanding that they're going through something and you might be able to help, a lot of times that comes back around to you with working with the right people and individuals, because they see that you are an authentic person or in business or whatnot, that they will also be drawn to teach you something or work with you. And if not, you didn't lose anything. It's really about just, being an authentically good person. But really, I think a lot of people think like that somebody's going to take from them automatically. And sure, there will always be, unfortunately, those type of people as well. But I think it just starts off by being a good person and, again, thinking abundantly rather than scarcely. Those are kind of a few really quick.
It's so refreshing to hear you guys speak of your pearls of wisdom, because you're still very young guys. Don and I started this podcast because we love mentoring and being mentored. It's been a motif in my life. And I wanted to figure out how could I mentor on a larger scale. And you two guys just did that for me in a huge way. So thank you, Dion, so much for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you, Jioni, for being here. I mean, I love what you guys had to say today. Don, as always, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you as well. And thank you, guys. You know, I make my living mentoring, and I feel like I just got mentored. The biggest T between talent and timing's in timing, and the biggest nation is procrastination. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys.
And with that, we'll see you next time.